Hello there, you're watching and listening to another Scoutcast on www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
And my name is John T.
My name's Andy.
And Luke, or Disable.
Good evening. 4 of us tonight. It's a bumper Scoutcast episode. I've got a feeling it's going to be a good one because we've got lots to discuss and 4 of us to discuss it. Could be some lengthy and heated debates coming up. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, all buoyed up. Really pleased with Aguero, who we're going to discuss in detail later.
Oh, yes, we should talk about Aguero. Yes, we will do. And we'll talk about Andy's game week as well. After a complete panning on the previous episode 180, Andy's back with a huge score this week and topped the 4 of us, didn't he? I mean, you 3 all did well for one reason or another, which might have been Aguero. We'll talk about that, I'm sure, as I mentioned. But Andy topped the bill there with 74 points. Congrats, Andy. Came right back at us.
Thank you. Yeah, good week for me.
Charlie Daniels. Yeah, the secret sauce in that successful game week. We're going to talk about our game weeks, of course. We're going to talk about a certain Manchester City striker. We're going to talk about KDB, Ozil and Leicester. Do we get rid of the players? You know who we're talking about amongst the Leicester squad. Talk about demise of Ighalo, a player who has been a huge attractant for investment. Lots of people got on board. No goal in 5, starting to struggle. Watford are starting to struggle as well. We're going to talk about attacking fullbacks. Matt Targett, Leighton Baines. Is Sir Leighton back on the radar? I don't need an excuse to get him in normally, but I've got my doubts into some respects. We'll talk about that. We've got news of the Fantasy Football Scout Cup, which will be drawn later on this evening and published tomorrow. And John T and I are going to mention Christian Fuchs as many times as possible without getting taken off air. That's correct, John T?
Yes, I know. I was quite surprised when I saw that you'd got the same player in, and I was really worried about mispronouncing him. So yeah, you as well. So, but you've done all right. I keep thinking of the David Bowie song "Kooks," and then
yes,
David
Fuchs. We are the kings of mispronunciation, John T and I. So Christian Fuchs is dangerous territory in our incapable hands. But we'll do our best. Maybe we should stop saying his name totally, but we can't avoid it. Okay, let's talk about our game weeks. Let's go around the houses, and let's start with Andy first. Charlie Daniels was the major ingredient of a superb game week, but talk us through it, Andy. What went right for you?
Yeah, so somebody last week maybe gave my team a little bit of a bashing, but as I said at the end...
I know what he means, John T. I know what he means.
I couldn't imagine. Needs a bit of work, I think it was. But yeah, like I said, I thought my defence on paper looked pretty good. They had Sunderland, West Brom and Norwich all at home. And obviously Charlie Daniels still has penalties, which we now know, which we were maybe a little bit worried about before.
Yeah.
And yeah, Danny Rose popping up with 2 assists as well. So my whole defence actually came away with at least clean sheet points. 7 was the minimum. The only kind of mistake I made was I got rid of Silva. So that's the second midfielder in a row, or second week in a row that I've got rid of points. And I bought in Payet and decided to captain him, which was obviously a mistake in the end. I thought about Aguero and Kane, and I thought I'd try and be a bit different, and was probably just a bit too smart.
74 points with your captain on Payet is extraordinary, isn't it?
It's really good.
I mean, it's crazy what you would have scored though. Obviously, you'd have been into the 90s, and Danny Rose even turning up is a bonus at the moment.
Yeah.
Turning up and getting 2 assists is fantastic for you, isn't it?
Yeah, and he hasn't played again tonight, so it could be the same at the weekend.
Yeah.
Long term, probably needs to go, but right now he seems one to stay.
Yeah, no. How about you then, Luke? Decent game week, 70 points. Got to be pleased with that, and it's all about Aguero, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's fair. It seems fairly sort of middling, really, but maybe just above average. But yeah, I've started to settle the ship a little bit. Fairly happy with it. All down to Aguero, really, and then David De Gea in goal got me 9 points. Bellerin and Francis clean sheet. That's the bulk of it, really. The rest of it was pretty much 2s all over, but yeah, pretty happy.
The Argentine carried you through. So we haven't spoken to you on the Scoutcast for a few weeks. You've a bit of a renaissance, though, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, I don't know what's been going on. Obviously, I've been doing pretty atrociously up until this point. Still not great, still 140,000 or something, but last few weeks just been benching the right players. I think that's what it is. Just been like taking a few risks at the back, going with the form more than the fixture, and it's just been working out. So yeah, maybe I'll keep doing that, and hopefully it will continue.
Yeah, because before we went on air, I was like saying, well, I haven't got Aguero, but I'm still beating all 3 of you. But I'm only tipping you by 1 point. 1 point in it now, so very, very tight. I've had a good few game weeks, but you've kept pace. So Yeah, one to keep an eye on. John T, you got to be chuffed, haven't you? 70 points also. And what was behind all that then? Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a choice between Kane or Aguero to captain. I mean, either would have got me points, but having Aguero's great. Captaining him, 32 points, so that's the bulk of my score there. Nice clean sheets from Bellerin and Butland as well, and an assist from KDB as well. So I had, I was pretty pleased with that, and obviously I'm very pleased with my front line because I have Lukaku, who hasn't done well recent weeks, but it's tough opposition and a couple of nice home games. So planning for the future there.
Yeah, I mean, that Arsenal Stoke result was a plum for us, wasn't it? I was watching that on Sunday, winning a 0-0, which is always fun. It's always fun winning for a 0-0 for the live game on a Sunday evening. But yeah, that couldn't have turned out much better, could it, for either of us? That one. No,
that was a good one. I thought when Özil was injured, when news was coming through, and then Özil posted a photo of himself with his feet up in his living room in London, when we definitely knew he wasn't playing. I thought it would be a pretty grim affair, and it turned out to be. And in the end, it was Cech rather than Butland, who was the goalkeeper of the day. I thought Butland was good, but Cech outclassed him. So it could have been Stoke's victory. So I think we got off there. But as we'll discover when we come to the rough with the smooth, Özil's injury was a blessing for many of the community.
Yeah, see, I thought he was going to find you out, because I was quite chuffed about that, to be honest, because I looked at him and thought, well, that's all right, because I've got Ayew off the bench. Time for my stronger squad to come into effect. And obviously I was going into Monday night with a big deficit, but I was hoping, well, if Ayew gets a goal, then I'm only going to be losing to these Aguero captains by a small margin. But obviously he drew a blank. It ain't that romantic tale of Ayew coming and scoring 2 goals, getting bonus and a clean sheet, and getting 17 points to draw me level with you. Just didn't quite pan out. I went and sat with Granville on Monday afternoon and said, wouldn't it be lovely after John T put on Twitter, lol at Kane captain, wouldn't it be lovely if I could reply to that after Ayew got a brace, but wasn't to be. Thanks for that tweet, by the way. I don't know who you're referring to.
Well, it was actually it was the comedy of everyone was captaining one of those two. So it was actually not much in it. Captaining Kane was still a good move, but it was just funny.
I still put it down to cyberbullying, don't you, Luke? Surely.
Yeah, a little bit.
Sounds like it to me.
Yeah. Okay, let's bully some of the community. That's always fun. Let's look at Rough with the Smooth, John T.
Yeah, so as we said, Özil was missing. So for Christina, Ebbs, Fantasy Football Frog, Olise Lol, and countless other people, that meant that Ashley Williams came in. All of his 15
having a laugh.
points. I know, couldn't believe it. So, well, I was quite surprised they benched him, to be honest. But nevertheless, so he came on. So 15 points. So that's what Özil. But there was a smoother this week. Rhinos. He'd had enough of his team. He wildcarded.
Okay.
So out went at first part of the season's lot: Kolarov, Moreno, Özil, Ighalo, Lloris, and in came De Gea, Daniels and his 18 points, Williams and his 15 points, Oscar and Costa, who ended up being the Oscar and Costa in particular, doing well, and in the end he got 99 points. So I don't know if he got a flake at the end of that as well, but nice.
He deserves one, doesn't he? I mean, there's a big call there.
Yeah.
Daniels and Williams, he's got. I mean, how often do you get double figures off a defender in a game? How often do you get it twice?
Amazing, isn't it?
Ashley Williams, when he scored.
The last time that he was the last Swansea defender to score in the Premier League, and that was 2 years ago. So that's how long it's been.
Nice stat.
Meanwhile, the rough. There's quite a few here. Breedy got rid of Ericsson for Dele Alli, so that didn't work out.
Plenty of logic there. He's freeing up cash, isn't he, for somebody?
But he also freed himself of 2 goals. Blame it on Traore. He swapped Williams out. So all that 15 points for Simpson. Once again, a bit of long-term planning. Simpson nice and cheap, and still unsure. Like Andy, sold Silva for Payet, and that didn't work out this week. I don't know whether he had Daniels to fall back on though.
See 2 of those moves. I would say Breedy dumping Ericsson for Ali, and blame it on Traore swapping Williams for Simpson. That whiffs of freeing up cash for Aguero, doesn't it? So evidence already getting Aguero is going to break your team, and it's nonsense. It's a rubbish idea. I think that's my first point. There we go. I have, of course, prepared a case against Aguero, and week by week, this case is going to dwindle and evaporate in front of our eyes, I'm sure. But having seen Aguero get 2 goals and assist, I had to prepare my defence, and so I asked Luke forlornly whether he had Aguero, because I hadn't checked it on Luke's team before, and he has. So it's 3 versus 1. It's probably going to be me versus the world in game week 37 on hanging on. I'll get him in right at the end, but I haven't got Aguero, don't plan to get him, and it found me out, didn't it? I got just 55 points, which in any other game week would have been fairly healthy. I got the Kane captaincy, but Aguero ruined it for me. Not for the first time. I expect he's going to spank me, but I've got to stick to my guns, I think. So who wants to go first? I guess John T, you want to tuck in first.
Well, I mean, this is some research that Cavalli, one of our community regulars, has been doing, and he's been following the veterans, the FPL veterans,
of which we are a couple,
like Andy, like Luke, like myself,
yeah,
and including FPL winners. So whilst they might have us lot in it as well, he's got some winners in there as well. So
yeah, decent players. Yeah,
he's got some good stats about just how much not having Aguero costs you. So amongst the veterans, the average this week was 65, and that compares to 48 for the top 10k managers. So this is a huge leap there, and also 46 was the average overall. Now the key factor there was Aguero. Now he's owned by 8 out of 10 of the veterans, as he calls them. So these kind of hardy FPL managers, 8 out of 10 of them have him. So you're one of the 2 out of 10 mark. But just 17% of managers overall in the top 10,000 and overall actually have him. So that's a huge difference there. So when Aguero scores a brace or a hat-trick, as he will do, because he's good, in fact he's the best striker in the Premier League.
Thanks for outlining that.
Every time he does that, and these figures are going to go up, by the way, as well. Every time he does that and you don't own Aguero, you are going to lose out. So yeah, that's my case for owning Aguero.
Yeah, it's pretty conclusive. Andy, do you want to have a go? Go on.
Well, going on from kind of last week, you were talking about how if you didn't have Aguero, you'd have like De Bruyne in, who could possibly cover points in the good fixtures, I think you said.
For the good home fixtures, yeah. For something like, I mean, to be honest, I didn't see City getting 4 against Palace. I was aware that Palace were on a bad run, but I thought they would. I was hoping that City wouldn't get an early goal, and I think because they got the goal on 20-odd minutes, I think that changed it completely. So, to be fair, I didn't see that as a thrashing. I thought they'd win 1 or 2-0. But so I didn't. I'm talking about, I don't know, home to Bournemouth or home to Sunderland, home to Newcastle, games where I would think, yeah, there could be 4 or 5 goals there. That's where I would think about captaining De Bruyne. So that was my point there on that one. But you don't agree with that, even maybe?
I don't know. I mean, De Bruyne didn't have a shot from the stats that I've seen in the game at all. Silva had 5, so it might even be that De Bruyne is not the right midfielder to have right now. So you might even have the wrong City midfielder and no Aguero. So yeah, I don't know.
We'll touch on KDB later on because I know there's some questions on him. I've got some stats on him. I mean, he's a stat darling, isn't he? He's always producing good numbers. I'm still sceptical. I still think that there's think for someone who doesn't own Aguero, you've got to have one of KDB and Silva, and I'm still in the KDB camp myself. Luke, do you want to have a go? Go on. What am I doing right? Am I a complete fool?
No, I don't think you're a complete fool. I think that.
Glad you came, Luke.
I think there's so many ways to play this game, and you don't have to have him. It's just that security factor, isn't it? It's just the captaincy, stick it on the best player in the league, and I don't think anyone's got the potential like he has to score hat-tricks and 3 or 4 goals, so it's just that excitement, when you look and check in the score and you think, oh, Aguero, another one, a penalty. I don't see any other player, Kane, sort of, but not quite, capable of racking up those points, and I just think as a fantasy player, that's what you want in life, so Aguero provides that enjoyment, so for me, it's a good idea to have him, but it's not necessary, I'm sure.
Yeah.
As we've seen most stats before, look at everyone who's in the top 10k. They're there for a reason. They haven't had Aguero this whole time, and they've been doing really well.
To be fair, I normally go straight to the RVP, straight to the Ronaldo, straight to the Suarez, straight to Aguero. It's not a policy I'm normally keen to stick to, but I'm in my 8th season now. I'm long in the tooth in this. I had my best season last year. Do I want to just play the game the same way? I don't know. I also think this season is an odd one in that for the first time we're seeing players like Lukaku and Ozil We got Kane. We had Ighalo, who was being consistent. For the first time, I think there are players who, when it comes to the captaincy decision, and we've got it this next week and we've got it the week after, where you look at Aguero and go, actually, if I put the captaincy on Aguero, am I doing the right thing? Because there's Lukaku at home to Newcastle, or there's Lukaku at home to Swansea this week. There are options this season, whereas I think in previous seasons perhaps Aguero was even further ahead as the choice because of the captaincy. So that's my first point in defence, which I'll make every single week until it sounds even more ridiculous than it did just then. But I'm like Henry Fonda in 12 Angry Men. I've got a very, very good argument, point by point. You guys are just going to break this down, I'm sure. But first of all, I want to say Aguero, 2 double-figure hauls all season. So that 16 points, apart from the 25 points, which I had the armband on him, that's it. 41 points of his 83 he's got in 2 matches. So he's blanked 7 times in 14 starts. So 50% of the time he's blanked. So let's not get carried away. And don't forget last week when I had Payet and you guys didn't because you got Aguero, I beat you by 12 points. So I know you beat me by 17 this week, but actually you just made up the deficit that you lost last week because I didn't get Aguero, I got Payet. So I think it's going to be, I hope, swings and roundabouts in that there'll be weeks where Aguero will get a goal. Maybe he'll do what he did at the weekend and get 2 goals. But I'm hoping that there'll be weeks where perhaps Aguero owners captain Aguero and it might not work out, or he might just get 1 goal and Lukaku or Kane might get 2. I think if you own Aguero, and I said this last week, you're pulled to kind of put the captaincy on him because you kind of think that's the point of having Aguero. There's no point in having a £13 million player and just getting 6 points from him. You want to get at least double that, put the armband on him and hope he gets more. And he is the most likely player to get more than a goal. He's the most explosive player on a consistent basis. Although the stats so far, due to injury or whatever, City's form, show that he's not been consistent yet. Also, let's look at this. City away, next 4 in the next 6. So 4 of the next 6 away from home. Aguero's got 1 goal away from home all season. City have scored 10 in 10 away from home all season. I know they've had strong opposition, but I've seen them away from home, and they're nowhere near as fluent as they are at home. There's something different in the way Pellegrini's setting them up. Maybe Aguero coming back will change that, and they'll get loads of goals now. But we'll see. We'll see. 4 of the next 6 away, whereas Vardy 4 of the next 6 at home, and his home stats are pretty good. Away from home, Aguero's involvement in City's goals is 25%. So if City score, he's assisted or scored 25%. He's got points in 25% of those goals. Lukaku away from home, 50%. Vardy, 42%. Kane, 37%. All stronger than Aguero away from home. So we'll see. We'll see if Aguero can close that. Are you going to captain him at the away game? Are you going to captain him next week when you've got Lukaku at home at Swansea? This is the decision that Aguero owners have got. For me, it's easy. I go straight to Lukaku for the captaincy. You 3, you've all got Lukaku, have you not?
Well, yeah.
It's more difficult.
Well, I was just gonna. There's a comment here from Andy Shears on the comment section on YouTube. Mark clutching at straws, and that's exactly what I've been hearing there. Basically what. This weekend, I'll probably captain Lukaku because Lukaku has assisted or scored in every home match over the last 6 home matches.
Yeah, so he's very strong.
I've always thought he's the better option. Last week I captained Aguero, and it was tight between him and Kane, but I felt that Aguero was the better option because he was at home as well. But I'm happy not captaining Aguero. He's an expensive player, but I'm happy if I think my other captain's going to score more. But the difference is, and this is the crucial difference, I have Aguero. So I'm captaining someone I think's going to get a huge score. Plus I've got this other guy who's also going to get a huge score. And then so each week, say he scores and assists a lot. So a lot of the stats you've been looking at are the season as a whole. But if you look after the last 4 game weeks, he's right up there. He's 3rd for goal attempts out of all the strikers over the last 4 game weeks. Prior to that, when he was coming back and in and out and a bit injured, he wasn't anywhere near that. He wasn't top of the tree there. It was Vardy, it was Ighalo, and so you had these cheap options. So yeah, why would you get Aguero in? Now we're not necessarily got Vardy. Now we've not necessarily got Ighalo, who we're going to come to. So the pool of strikers who are quality at the top is gone. and suddenly you've got Aguero coming into form. So I think those that have Kane, Aguero and Lukaku, you've got a choice of probably 2, possibly even 3 excellent captains each week. You've also got the possibility of those 3 all doing really well every week.
I totally agree, but the difference you're beginning is the effect on elsewhere in your team. If you look at your defence this week, compare it to mine, I think you're going to struggle to match me for points. So whatever Aguero gets you, is that going to? I've got Payet. I'm probably going to get Barkley. I've got Alderweireld, and I've got Dawson. So I've got Alderweireld at Palace, who haven't scored for 5 games. Dawson at home to Villa. Well, who knows? Villa might score, but let's say it looks a decent clean sheet. I've got Payet, who's at home. I've got Barkley, who will get Barkley, who's going to be at home at Swansea, and I have Lukaku captain. You won't have that. You've got to try and strengthen. You've got Ivanovic at Arsenal, unless you sell him, and you've got Ward at home to Tottenham, and you've got Ryan Bennett, and so your defence. You're not gonna expect to get more than 1 clean sheet out of that. So if I get a couple of clean sheets, this is the kind of thing that I've got to hope that the differentials that I'll have and the flexibility I'll have with my transfer compared to someone who's got 0 in the bank is going to hopefully bridge the gap for a while. But we'll see. We'll see. And if you're not going to captain Aguero, then if Aguero gets 1 goal at the weekend and Vardy scores at home to Stoke, then your 13 million has got you exactly the same as my Vardy, but my rest of my team should get more points.
But so likewise, the more expensive defence can concede 1 goal, the same as my cheap defender, and you've lost out money there.
It could, but you've got to expect that eventually, in this part of the season, in the second half of the season, is where we start to see the defences come to the fore a bit more. We start to see teams.
Have you watched the Premier League this year, Mark? No one.
Well, I know. I'm not going on. I'm going on previous seasons where normally this is the part of time where you start seeing Chelsea and you start seeing Pellegrini starting to get results.
It would be nice, wouldn't it? Then we can actually pick one.
Would be nice. Then we could predict some clean sheets.
What about 4-4-2? By the way, I just want to put that out there for Man City. I didn't see the game. I'm not sure if it happened, but didn't they start with Ighalo? And obviously, that straight away they looked a different force almost. Aguero.
Yeah, I think
everything. Is that a factor?
I think they still play 4-3-3. I think that was just Ighalo played out wide.
Oh right, okay.
I don't know. I mean, Pellegrini's rotating a lot. The other thing with Aguero is you've got Champions League coming up, and who knows? We know that he's fragile, so we'll see. We'll see how City deal with those matches. He's not going to not play him in the Champions League, whereas Kane is going to get maybe rested in Europa League, and Lukaku and Vardy for me aren't involved. So every European game, Aguero is going to be, putting himself through more stress, and then we'll see if he stands up to it. He hasn't done this season so far.
I think
so we'll see.
Yeah, I think obviously City haven't been doing well, and away from home they've not been doing well. But Silva's missed a lot of the season as well, and he seems to have come back and is now firing. And there has been other strikers that have been doing well. They're starting to regress. So the other thing with Aguero, and I think it was Apple Bonkers pointed out, is that not only is he back and scoring, he just looks sharper as well. To get the last assist for Silva's goal, he bursted past Ward, I think it was. So he's back, he's fit, he's firing, he's the man we always want. And now we've got him back. So I don't know. I mean, like you say, you could do well without, but right now I'm not feeling the money thing at all. I think that might happen when Sanchez comes back. Then it will hit me because I've never had Vardy and Ighalo, so my money's not very good. But right now the money's not. I don't feel that it's hitting me anyway.
Yeah, and also I mean, just thinking, comparing teams as well. But I plan to have Payet in against Villa at home. I don't really envisage him getting a tremendous amount against City this week, so we'll see. But also have Dele Alli there. He's got a great away record when he faces Palace. But also you mentioned my defence. I've got Ivanovic there, and Chelsea, they're ticking along quite nicely. I've got Christian Fuchs as well. He's got a great fixture, and I've just got Charlie Daniels in. He's a penalty-taking defender.
So you have made a change then at the back.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at my defence of Fuchs, Daniels and Ivanovic, and having Dele Alli in my squad, and KDB and Lukaku and Kane and Aguero, and I'm not really thinking I'm missing out, to be honest.
Yeah, but you look at what happened when you had Ozil injured. Off the bench comes Ryan Bennett. So if
I had Ryan Bennett cost 3.9 million, and you had AU who cost what? Well, he did cost quite a lot more than he did now. But as we
I think I'd rather have AU coming on than Ryan Bennett.
But as we showed a couple of weeks ago with that game where he had zero influence. So basically, if I'd have been subbed on, I'd have possibly had more influence just by being in the way.
Yeah, but the difference is I've now taken Ayu out. I've got Ross Barkley in for Ayu now, right? So that was a transfer I made now, right? So say for example, I mean Ozil will play at the weekend, but say for example, Wenger said on Friday, Ozil's still a doubt. You've got Josh King coming off the bench in midfield, or Ryan Bennett, and I'll have a decision on who shall I have? Shall I have Mahrez? Shall I play Barkley? Shall I play Payet? I obviously will have more depth as a result of not spending 13 million on Aguero. You can't deny that I will have more flexibility. Like my transfer this week is Ross Barkley. Next week it could be Wijnaldum. You know, I can always get a decent heavy hitter, 4th or 5th midfielder in. You will be relying on Ali week in, week out, which might be fine, but he's 19 years old, and is he going to produce week in, week out?
But that's if I actually keep him week in, week out. I might not. I might get Wijnaldum in. I might downgrade.
You can't get all these players. You can't get Payet and Wijnaldum. Got unlimited money. So
we look at the top of the moderators and contributors league, and Andy, who's top of that, he has Aguero in. You look at maybe Andrew Green Windmill, second, he's got Aguero in. Ebbs, he's got Aguero in. They've all got great squads. We've all got good squads with Aguero in. I think it's really is clutching at straws to suggest that anyone with Aguero is. I mean, you bring up Ryan Bennett. Ryan Bennett's like he's like nothing on my bench. This is the first time I've had to use a sub for weeks, and it's the first time I've ever gone on to first time all season I've ever gone on to the second sub. So this is a real first for me. So I mean, all these players and all the Villaroncu's top of the Hall of Fame. I mean, I could reel off all of these.
Oh, I know.
Winners. They've
all
got
I'm sitting there going, Aguero is rubbish, and no one should get in fact. All I'm trying to say
is they've all got good squads, though.
I don't think you can say that if you spend 13 million on Aguero that strengthens your squad depth. It definitely makes a hole in your budget. You can't dispute that. And the transfers that I'm going to get to make every week, I don't want to be looking at which 4.5 defender should I get in this week. I want to be going, well, can I get this mid-price midfielder who's got a plum fixture? I want to have more choice and flexibility with my transfers than just which 4.5 defender should I get. And that, I think, if I go down the route of Aguero now, I'm putting my team in a situation where I have to get Stanislaus, or I have to get Ali, I have to get Daniels, I have to get Target, and suddenly my team looks like everybody else's, and my season will probably pan out like everybody else's, and I might do better for it, but it's going to be bloody less interesting, isn't it, for me?
You say that, but Daniels is so poorly owned, so's Target, whereas you've got Barkley, and he's got a huge ownership, so your team is looking like everyone else's.
No. But I mean, Barkley is being sold a lot, so he's going down in price. I think a lot of people are getting rid of Barkley at the moment to get cash in, and Wijnaldum, they're getting Wijnaldum in droves, so I think Barkley's struggling because of that. What I'm trying to do is, have the money to make short-term transfers. Like Fuchs, he was only going to come in for this week, possibly playing this week. Barkley will come in for the next 2 maybe, although Everton have got good fixtures over the 4. But I'm looking at Wijnaldum in a couple of weeks who's got a good home fixture, so I want to be able to get him in. It's just having a bit more flexibility to make transfers that are a bit more game-changing transfers, rather than just continually having to plug holes in a back 4 with another 4.5 defender, which I just think I'll be doing if I get Aguero now. I mean, I know I'm quite easily I could be sitting in 3 weeks and I'll be bottom out of you 4, and I'll be. I'm not saying that I'm absolutely right in doing this. I'm just saying I want to do it because I just feel. Look, I had my best season of all time last season. I'm not gonna beat that even if I get Aguero. So I might as well try and experiment, do what Andy did with the Van Persie situation a few seasons ago. Try and hold out as long as I can. I know when it comes to double game weeks as well, that's going to be a different situation. That's going to be interesting because everyone's going to triple C Aguero if they beat Everton and get the Capital One Cup, and maybe I'll play the bench boost because I'll hopefully have a stronger bench, and maybe that'll counter that. But it's going to make it more interesting season for me if I try and hold off as long as I can, because otherwise I think I obviously sat there and I looked at getting Aguero in, and I looked at the players I'd have to get to do it. And it would put me in the realms of having to get Ali, having to get Stanislaus, or having to get Target or Daniels at the back, and I do think that in the Contributors League and amongst the veteran group that you spoke about, these will be the moves that they'll be making as well. We'll see how far it puts me adrift, and we'll see how long I can hold out for. I'm not for 1 minute saying Aguero's rubbish and no one should get him. I'm just saying, for me personally, I want to hold on as long as I can, and it's far more interesting week to week us to have this discussion and see how it goes. As I said, you're forgetting last week I beat you by 12 points because I didn't have Aguero. I got Payet. You beat me by 17 this week. Let's see what happens next week. I do think I should get a few more points around my team than you, but it's going to come down to whether Aguero scores more than Vardy, and it sounds on paper like he will, but I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be very, very interesting. And hopefully, a few more people tune in and listen to us having this argument and me listen to me making myself silly. We'll see how it goes. Let's move on to some more questions, Jonty.
Yeah, so for those that do want Aguero, you'll be looking at ditching some expensive rubbish players. So that's the theme here. Beavis says, is it time to scrap the top 10,000 template of KDB, Mahrez, Ighalo, Vardy and Özil? And there's a few more questions. Mark Harborough asks, is Ighalo in terminal decline? Adam West is amongst those, saying, is it time to ditch Mahrez? And John Terry's dog, he wonders whether Watford and Leicester's small squads are being found out. And Eternal Error is one who's asked about KDB. So there's quite a lot of players there to discuss.
Now KDB, really. We've all got him apart from Andy. So Andy, you got on Silver last week and then got rid. Are you looking at getting? Are you sticking with just Aguero? Are you?
Yeah, for now I'll just stick with him. I think we might get into the problem of like Silver scores one week, KDB scores the next week, so you're never too sure which one to have if you haven't already got one. So for now I'm going to stick, but I don't think I'd be getting rid of the fixtures they've got. I know, like I said earlier, he didn't have any shots, and Silver had 5 in the last game. But from when I've watched, KDB just always seems to be the one that's going to shoot more than Silver. And I know obviously the stats from the last game don't back that up, but yeah, I don't think I'd be getting rid if I had him. Not quite yet.
No, I kind of agree. I mean, last 6 matches, he's, in terms of our ICT index, which is an index we put together to kind of track like the suitability of players to fantasy football. He's the top midfielder, 81.2. He's top of in City and top overall in the league, and that's over the last 6. And that's with the perceived idea that KDB's struggling all of a sudden. In terms of chances created, which is what we've got him for, let's face it, the goals are extra, are gravy really. We got him because he gets assists, much the same as Özil. He's created more chances than any other midfielder over the last 6 matches, 27. So I don't know. There's this perception that he's regressing, but John T, I don't really see it. Do you? I mean, you getting rid?
Well, no. I mean, I did a bit of research in some of the players that we've mentioned, and KDB is better than he was, than he used to be. He's actually getting better. Yeah, I mean, game weeks 1 to 18, goal attempts 1.8 a match. So that's fair enough for an attacking midfielder. Chances created 3.4. These are averages. Then game weeks 19 to 22, when people are thinking, oh, let's get rid of him, goal attempts exactly the same, 1.8. Chances created 4. So he's creating more chances. And also, not goals imminent, this is assists imminent. He's top of that. Absolutely top of it. 16 chances he's created, just 1 assist over the last 4 game weeks. But you compare that to some of the other ones we mentioned, Ighalo, Mahrez, they are in decline, and their stats show that.
Yeah, what about you, Luke? You got a KDB in there, you're not getting rid, I take it?
Yeah, I'll keep hold of him. I can see what people's argument with him. It's a lot of money to spend on him. He doesn't seem to be setting the world alight in terms of, like your Sanchez kind of style or your Hazard style from the past of getting you, big points on a regular basis. But I don't know who else I'd spend the money on. I literally don't know who else to swap to. If you could give me a name where I think he might do well over the next couple. I mean, I know you mentioned Wijnaldum there potentially, but he's got away games coming up, hasn't he? So that might be an option a little further down the line when he's got home games coming up. But for now, I don't see else I'd give the spot to. So
yeah, I'm sure he'll do Sanchez well. In there. We'll talk about him later on. He comes up. I mean, Sanchez could be an option if he comes back and gets goals. That's gonna bring.
Yeah, but I looked at Sanchez as well, and I mean, he's only got 3. I think it's game week 7, 8 and 9. 20 points, 16 points, 10 points. Aside from that, it's a sea of 2s and 3s and 1s the whole way. I know he's got that explosive potential, so yeah, he could be an option. But I mean, we all want him to be that shining light to save our season. I think there's that sort of feeling around, but it's not guaranteed it's going to happen.
Okay, so Ighalo, I mean, the case to get rid of him is mounting, isn't it, Jonty?
Yeah, I mean, he's. I mean, we've all seen it with our own eyes. The Watford are poor at the moment. But yeah, game weeks 1 to 18, it was 3.5 goal attempts every match on average. Game weeks 19 to 22, so that's the last 4. Goal attempts 1.8, so it's half, just slashed in half. He's half the player he was. He was always cheap, but I think people start to expect more of him, and suddenly he wasn't on the bench, and suddenly you need him because other people are getting, say Rooney in or whatever. They're getting these more expensive strikers also doing well. So yeah, for me, if I had it, I wouldn't consider Ighalo at the moment, definitely.
The thing is, I draw parallels to Charlie Austin. I don't know if you remember last year on the Scoutcast. I don't know if you were on at the time when Charlie Austin was flying and Granville had Charlie Austin, and I was like, well, I've just got a feeling that teams are going to start working it out because, you know, with QPR and Austin was by far if you stop Austin, you stop QPR. And the teams now, I think Tottenham were the first 3 or 4 weeks ago, said, well, we're just going to play 3 defenders against their 2 strikers, make sure we outnumber them. And Ighalo did score in the game, but since then, other teams have tried it as well. And Ighalo, I've looked at the stats as well, and I've looked at the last 4 game weeks. His pass received down from, you know, he was getting a pass every 4.2 minutes. It's now 5.4, so that's reduced. So he's seeing less of the ball. His touches in the final third down. He was 22.2 a match, now it's 16.8 over the last 4 game weeks, so he's getting less of the ball because defenders are cutting the supply off. And like you say, minutes per attempt, it's halved. 24.9 it was before game week 18, it's now every 54 minutes. So teams, it seems like they did with Charlie Austin, they just said, we're playing Watford, stop Ighalo and Deeney, we stop them. I mean, it sounds simple, and it's surprising that it's taken this long to work out. But he was a bit of an unknown quantity, so it's not surprising he started the season well. He's a fantastic player, but teams are now adapting to it and are managing to stop it. And now the challenge for Flores is whether he can get holes out of him.
I think there's been some transfer rumours as well. Does that might have upsettled him a little bit?
There was talk of Deeney maybe being a target for Arsenal, and Ighalo is obviously going to be a target for the clubs in January.
The thing is, though, I would say though, game weeks 2, 3, and 4, he got 2 points for each of those. Ighalo. That's the only time that 3 game weeks in a row he's blanked. The rest of the time he's got points consistently. He's just done 3 again, so 20, 21, 22. I think 23 now. This match coming up, which is a bit of a plum fixture as well. I think that's got to be the final test.
Yeah, this is it. Ironically, going against Newcastle, a defence which is as obliging as they come. Well, you've got to back in for a goal, and so maybe this isn't the week you do it. Yeah, but. He's in decline. Mahrez, let's talk Mahrez because there's no doubt about that one, is there? Andy, you got a view on him? We've all got him, haven't we?
Yeah, I definitely. I would assume the other 2 have. Yeah, I think going on from last week, I'm going to give him one more game against Stoke, and that's not even necessary because I think he's going to do something. It's because I just don't know who I want instead. So like you're looking at Barkley, he's an option. Morales maybe if he was nailed on. Firmino's there, Wijnaldum, but I don't know which one I want right now, so I'm happy just to give him one more game. But I think that'll be it then. He's off penalties now, so that's one less thing in his locker.
This is the key. It's parallels to Hazard in a way, in that he's gone from being a world beater to suddenly his stats are regressing, and now he's lost penalties as well. It's one thing after another. He didn't. To be honest, I half expected him to play tonight because I had a feeling that Ranieri might even bench him against Stoke, thinking he could beat Stoke without him. But it didn't turn out that way. So he definitely will start. And yeah, he needs to produce something, I think, to stem the tide. For Milo, I bought him early, so I got him for 5-6. So to be honest, it's like I would probably, my first option is to put him on the bench if I've got doubts about him rather than sell him. Jonty, what's your feelings on it?
Yeah, well, I just think he's not. I just think there's better options out there. So yeah, we'll have to go for these Aguero owners. We've got to penny pinch a bit. So I'm starting to think I need to. Could I get someone even cheaper than him, or basically, it's a choice between him or Payet. So when Payet welcomes Villa, not this game week but the following one, I look at that and I think, do I want Mahrez, whose goal attempts are down, whose chances created is down, who's off penalties, playing for a team that has a smaller squad, or do I want Payet, who's the best and the most formed player at West Ham?
I mean, this is it, isn't it? It's for me. this is the luxury I've got. I don't need to sell Mahrez. I can afford to bench him, and that's a bit of a difference, because obviously with your situation, you can't have Mahrez sitting there if you're not playing him, because you need to get Payet in, or you need to get Ronaldo, whoever it is. So I've got a bit more of an advantage there. I can give Mahrez time to recover, but there is doubts about whether he will, because the regression in stats has been so marked, hasn't it, over the last couple of weeks. So I can't blame people for getting rid, but I would just say have another look at what you got him for, and think about that, because given that I got him for 5-6, there's a case for saying, well, I should just bench him, and maybe others should as well. But a lot of it has got to do with the fact that he's you need the money, you need to cash in on the fact that he's gone up in price so much, and you're going to get some money back on it. Vardy, what's the thoughts on him? I mean, for me, I've got to hold on to him because he's the player that so many people got rid of to get Aguero. So I'm hoping Mahrez losing penalties to Vardy will work in his favour. I guess you're all going to say I'm mad again, are you?
No, I think that. No, I'll go there, Andy speak.
Yeah, I think Leicester have won a fair amount of penalties this year, so if they can keep that up, perhaps that will be a key for.
Well, he wins them, doesn't he?
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, like Mahrez, he's kind of regressed stats-wise. So whether he's going to do it because after Stoke they've got 3. I think it's Liverpool, City, and Chelsea. Yeah. So it's 3 tough fixtures. I mean, after that we might all be wanting them back because it's Norwich at home.
Yeah, and then West Brom at home. Yeah.
But yeah, for now I think there's better options out there. Even if you're not going for Aguero, even Rooney's scoring right now. There is other options out there, so we're going to come on to him later. But yeah, I think I'd probably be looking to get rid.
I just think with the penalties though, and I looked at it, and they've got 4 and 6 the next time. They've got tough fixtures, but they have got the 2 away games are very tough at City and Arsenal, as you say. But they have got Stoke, Liverpool, Norwich, and West Brom in the next 6. And I had a look at Vardy's involvement in home matches, and it's 56%, so it's very strong. I mean, Leicester, I always thought Vardy was a better performer on the road, but the stats say otherwise. So I'm kind of hoping that he's going to recover. He looked sharp the other night, so I've got to hope that he gets back on the goal trail. And a goal a game, that would be unfeasible, wouldn't it? Imagine he got a goal a game. But yeah, he may well do. We'll see. I doubt he'll get back to that, but we'll see. John T, next topic.
Well, this brings us on to Everton. Now, Everton, we know they've got a couple of great fixtures, so time to invest. So Leighton Baines is back on the radar. A couple of assists last game week. So Papamoa asks, is he worth his 6.1 price tag? Flapjack asks, now Baines is also no longer on penalties, so are we kind of seeing him through kind of slightly nostalgic views when he had penalties? And Rupert the Horse asks, is Baines actually worth getting, because Everton have actually got quite a poor defensive record this season? So yeah, lots of questions there, lots of people thinking about him.
Andy, have you got an affiliation with Baines? I mean, I wear my heart on my sleeve with him. I love him, but what about you, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I've owned him before. Probably not as much love as you, perhaps, but yeah, I mean, to go on their defensive record. So, like I've been saying this a lot on the site recently. So they have conceded a lot of goals, but they've not necessarily kept that many less clean sheets than other popular defences. So Spurs, for example, have conceded nearly half the amount of goals or something like that. But they've only kept 1 clean sheet more.
Yeah, 65, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember Jonty saying back at I think it was the start of the season, that you get attackers who are in form, you get defenders with good fixtures, and Everton's fixtures couldn't be much better right now. 3 home games in 4, so yeah, I'd definitely be looking at Baines or someone like Ighalo. I think if Baines can keep up, he's got corners now. He's taken them again, so yeah, perhaps he's got a bit of assist potential there.
Yeah, I mean, the fixtures are Swansea, Newcastle and West Brom are the next 3 home games. And in terms of teams travelling who struggle for goals, that doesn't get any better, really. I mean, Newcastle look like they're on a bit of a renaissance. And actually, I think they're dark horses for a win at Watford this weekend. But you still look at those events and think, well, there's probably 2 clean sheets there out of those 3 home games. But Everton are so unpredictable. Baines got the 2 assists at Stamford Bridge, so that's put him back on the radar. But I've looked at his stats. John T, have you looked at some of the numbers behind him?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's actually doing okay. I mean, I looked specifically for the last couple of game weeks, because these have been tough matches as well. And he's right up there amongst attacking defence in terms of chances created. We mentioned target, ultra budget. Was he 3.7, 3.8? So he's created 4. And then you've got Daniels, Azpilicueta, Baines, Fuchs, Janmaat, and Moreno, all on 3 chances created. So Where he's lacking though is shots on target. So whilst say for example Target is actually shooting at goal, or Daniels as well, and Aspilicueta, they're all actually doing that. So Baines isn't doing that. So you're probably not going to be getting goals for your money. You could be getting assists though, and where he's put in 12 crosses, but only one has been successful over the last 2 game weeks. So we always knew this about him. He puts in a lot of crosses, a hell of a lot. In fact, that's the most out of attacking defenders over the last 2 game weeks. But he's only one successful. That's pretty poor. So the Target, for example, has had 4 successes there. Fuchs has had more. I was going to get him in this week. I was right up for him actually, but then I
for Ivanovic.
No, for Bellerin, and so and then I looked at Daniels, and then I did some comparison tools. And basically, Daniels is performing like Leighton Baines of 2 or 3 years ago. So why get? So I'm getting Leighton Baines of 2 or 3 years ago, hopefully.
Yeah, I looked at the numbers. So Baines so far this season compared to last, chances created. That's why we want him. We want him on assists. He's not got pens, so he's not going to get goals unless he gets free kicks. But you kind of think there's a queue for those now. Barkley's taking them, and Lukaku as well. Minutes per chance created this season, a chance every 86 minutes. Last term it's 41.9. So at the moment, he's not producing chances for teammates at the rate he was last season. Nowhere near it. And I looked and thought, well, maybe over the last 3 game weeks there's an improvement. No, it's actually worse. Last 3 game weeks, chances created every 96 minutes compared to 78.8 before that. So even though he got the assist at Stamford Bridge, he's not been creating chances of teammates any quicker over the last 3 game weeks than he has done all season. So bit of an illusion maybe. I've got him. I mean, he's top of the watch list for defenders because of those fixtures, and you've got to think, like I say, out of those 3 home games, there's a couple of clean sheets there, and to be honest, it's slim pickings in defence at the moment. You know, you're banking on Tottenham getting clean sheets. So they are the strongest defence, but they're not getting clean sheets there. You know, Swansea have had a run of clean sheets, but their fixtures are weakening, and Bellerin and Chelsea haven't rewarded us. So I can see why everyone's going budget with their defenders, which is against everything I've said previously tonight. But I just think at the moment the jury's out on Baines. I'd get him if I had the money and there wasn't targets elsewhere. But I just think Everton's fixtures, I think you'd be better off doubling on Lukaku and Barkley, which is probably the route I'm going to go. Luke, what do you think on Baines?
I just think Everton are such an attacking side at the moment, and Martinez's defence is the last thing he thinks about. I mean, it's all been said already. The fixtures are great. Take a chance, why not? But I wouldn't do it personally. I just don't really fancy him. Without the penalties, that was the real allure for me. And then the fact of it's just really bad timing because Morelos has come back into the side as well. Historically, he's always hurt Baines. Yeah. He's always hurt him, hasn't he? And that's not going to be good. I think he'll take a few of the free kicks. Like I said, Barkley steps up his game in that area. Lukaku even tries them. I'm sure he'll get a few points, but Martinez for me is the key factor. I just don't think he cares about defending at all.
Yeah, I think it is secondary. There's no doubt about it. They're a bit of a goal machine, Evan.
I mean, Flores Mori is going to say actually, if he actually started, I'm not sure he will now. Jagiello's back. But he scored about 2 or 3 goals in the last few weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, coming forward from set plays, been dangerous, and he's done well actually. Flores Mori, people didn't rate him, but he's done well. Rooney, Jonty, should we talk a little about him? We've got 2 United fans with us.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we'll kind of hand it over to them to see what they think about him. But the wise owl, a simple question: is Rooney a viable option? So we've seen the goals. I mean, Andy, you're a Manchester United fan. What do you reckon? Wayne Rooney, tempted?
Yeah, I asked me the same question last week, and I said I'm not sure, and then he goes and scores again. So.
And Grenville captained him, by the way. Got him in and captained him.
Oh yeah. Nice. Nicely done. Yeah, I mean, stats have been good. They weren't against Liverpool. They seem to they go down quite a bit. I saw a bit of the game while I was at work, and Liverpool were all over us. But yeah, 2 good home fixtures coming. He's scoring. Seems to be getting the chances. So yeah, he could be a good option. It just depends whether you want to drop one of if Kane and Lukaku and Aguero is the forward line we're going for, is there room for Rooney? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know which one I drop. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, 4 goals in 5 goals in 4 matches, all competitions. I've looked at his stats and they've jumped up, haven't they, Jonty? He has been impressive.
Well, he hasn't. Manchester United had 1 shot on target against Liverpool.
1 more than usual, then. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're doing better. They've got 1, and they haven't to score from it. So, and we all know when you look at these stats, if someone is scoring from just 1 shot and they're doing it tendency that might not happen. But my view is when I look at Rooney,
It's called Yaya Toure syndrome.
It's called Yaya Toure syndrome. But the thing is, when I look at Rooney, I think he is actually a better striker than he was, but he doesn't look like he's a better athlete than he was. And I don't
know what you're trying to say, John.
I'm not saying he's had a few fights or anything like that.
Well, you kind of are.
But he doesn't look as fast as he should be, but he does look like he's hitting the ball better. But Aguero, Lukaku, Kane, I think with those three, Rooney doesn't really get a look in. I mean, yes, he's cheaper than Aguero, so if you're not going to go for Aguero, I'd actually be tempted. But
what idiot wouldn't go for Aguero?
But then maybe Vardy could be better, and he's obviously more cost effective as well.
This is it. I think jury's still out. I mean, Luke, what have you thought about United this year? I mean, we haven't really spoken to you about that. I mean, that's got to go part and parcel if Rooney's a risk or not. It's just exactly how United are playing.
Yeah, that's the key factor, isn't it? Just watching the team play and seeing how likely you think they are to score goals. And I just don't think they're very likely to score that often. It's not a problem if you've got Rooney and he's the one banging them in and he's the one on penalties. And we always know historically he's a streaky player. He's done this so many times. He goes like 15 games looking like he's the worst player in the world, and then he just hits like a sort of gold patch of 10 games and just starts banging them in. And maybe we're in the middle of it right now. Maybe it will continue for a little while, but usually they end with an injury or something happening like that, and it all starts again. The cycle repeats. I'd say if you're in a really bad position and you're chasing, he'd be worth a look, but I wouldn't be risking it if you're.
Hence Granville got him in and captained him. Paid off him. Yeah. He's got 2 home games to come. I mean, the fixtures are good. I think you're right. I mean, Rooney is one of those players I've said before where when you can tell when he's in form and when he's off form. He just within minutes, his first touch is better, and he just looks hungrier. There's just something about his demeanour on the pitch and he does look on it. He does. I think I agree with John T. He still looks a bit short of pace and maybe not as strong as he used to be, but he is. There's something about him at the moment. I watched that Liverpool game and he did look up for it, and you always thought he was going to get the goal if United were going to score, and you didn't think that a few weeks ago or months ago even. It's been a long time since he looked like a dangerous threat. So we'll see. I mean, I hope it works out for Granville. 2 home fixtures for Rooney. Let's see if he puts the armband on him in the next couple of weeks as well. Should we look forward to the weekend? Or we haven't mentioned your goals imminent table, have we, John T? You're gonna sneak that one in somehow, are you?
Yeah, let's give it a go. Right, okay. Well, I usually look at this for differentials, but no, Harry Kane right at the top there. Goals are very imminent. I was listening to the game against Sunderland, and I thought, blimey, I'm really going to regret not captaining Harry Kane here because he's really going for it. 10 shots inside the box, 7 on target at the last 4. I mean, he's probably going to score against Palace. He's probably going to keep scoring. But Mitrovic, Newcastle.
Yeah, look at this.
Newcastle. Now Mitrovic, 17 goal attempts, but 15 inside the box. And 8 on. I mean, he's top actually. In terms of a sharp shooter who's in the right place at the right time. So if we think Newcastle are going to get better with Shelvey there, kind of helping out the midfield and linking up the attacking play, Wijnaldum there as well. Mitrovic good punt there.
Yeah, the last 6 game weeks, John T, he's had more shots than any other striker. How did that happen?
Yeah, mate. And then we've got a few more familiar names. Dele Alli, I mentioned he is actually better away, so anticipating perhaps him coming off the goals imminent table there. And then a few ones you're going to get ones like Benteke creeping in, but he's just an impact sub now, so yes, he might score, but I wouldn't recommend anyone getting him in. And then here's one good news for you, Mark. Jamie Vardy there, 11 goal attempts. So he's been requiring surgery for part of that, so that's not bad. I think Jamie Vardy's a good bet to score this weekend.
Yeah. No, I think it's all right. We'll see. He needs to for me, otherwise I've got no hope, have I? Let's preview the weekend then. Let's do Fancy Island risks. I'll go straight in there because I've got Mitrovic. You mentioned him just now, and I've got him as my risk because I just think that Watford's form so shaky. They've lost 5 in a row now, and Newcastle look good. I mean, I in that game they look like they've got attacking options all of a sudden, and Shelvey. Not himself a goal threat, but he's like the quarterback, isn't he? He sits in that pocket and he just sprays the ball around, and he assists the assister. We saw it when he played the long ball to Janmaat. Janmaat crossed Wijnaldum. Thank you very much. So I think Newcastle are on the up, and Mitrovic already, even before Shelvey arrived, was looking good numbers wise. And up against Watford, I fancy him. So that's mine straight in there. Jonty, have you got one?
Yeah, mine was a bit rubbish, but I'm going to go for him anyway. Stephen Naismith just signed for Norwich. Scored a hat-trick against Chelsea earlier this season. He's playing Liverpool, so Everton man goes to Liverpool. Liverpool don't look great at the moment. Norwich certainly don't look great. So this is a real risk, a complete punt on someone who is just moving teams. So there we go.
Yeah, I don't know how fit he is. I know he had a knock for Everton, so we'll see. They're going to try and patch him up and get him out there against Liverpool, though, aren't they? That's such a plum tie for him. The script is there, isn't it? So we'll see how you get on. I believe, Luke, you've got someone in that match as well in mind.
Which match is that? Sorry.
The Norwich-Liverpool game.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of Firmino. I've actually changed though. I'm going to go.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm going to go for Jermaine Lens, Sunderland home to Bournemouth. I just feel Bournemouth, although they're playing good stuff away from home, they're just shocking defensively. Sunderland need to go for it. They need goals. Defoe's in the team. If Lens starts and plays, I've got a feeling he might do well. Unfortunately, I think they've got City next week, so I wouldn't recommend bringing him in. But yeah, I think you'll get a tidy little point all there.
Bournemouth shocking defensively. This is the Charlie Daniels club you're talking to here. What are you talking about? They've signed up for fully fledged members. Okay, Andy, what you reckon? Fancy holidays?
Yeah, I've gone for a complete punt, not based on stats or anything. Targeting Villa, who've only had 1 clean sheet in 10. So someone from West Brom.
Anyone of them? Yeah, McLean.
Yeah,
the right one, I think. Yeah, he's got to stay on the pitch, of course. But I think he will be a threat. It's interesting, actually. As Pulis said about, I think it was 8 weeks ago, McLean, we've got to get more goals from him. And ever since then, I think he's got 3 goals. Got a couple of red cards, but he's got 3 goals as well. I think West Brom will beat Villa. It's interesting as well today that Johnny Evans, I saw a story, said, we're conceding goals because we're attacking too much.
God.
So I expect that to be a dour affair. If Pulis reads that, he'll be like, well, okay. That's why I'm banking on the Dawson clean sheet. I mean, that game's going to be dire, isn't it? I think that Villa-West Brom game. It's 2 struggling teams, battle of attrition. Can't see many goals in that, but McLean could be a good choice. Could be a good match winner. Okay, clean sheets. We'll pick one each. We'll start with you, Jonty. We'll give you the easy choice. Go on.
I think I actually fancy Leicester for a clean sheet against Stoke. I just think I think that's where Leicester are going to be focusing now. I think they're going to be focusing on trying to keep things tight, and Stoke are quite good at doing that as well. I wasn't overly impressed attacking wise with them against Arsenal. So yeah, there we go.
So you're playing Fuchs, are you?
I'm going to play Fuchs, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I pray for an assist from Fuchs as well, but I think there could be a clean sheet there.
Yeah, I'm scared. I don't know whether I'm going to play him or not. I've looked at Stoke's stats away from home, and they're not bad in attacking force. But you're right. You did see that Arsenal game. You were a bit, you weren't that impressed with what they had to offer. But then Czech kept them in it at times. It's a tough one. That Leicester defence, I'm suspicious of, but we'll see. Andy, have you got one?
Yeah, I think just because I've mentioned them so often on the site this week, I'm going to back Everton.
Yeah, it's the obvious one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jagielka's been back now a few weeks, so yeah, he's hopefully brought their defence up against them.
Yeah. Luke, what's your cleanie?
Probably a bit controversial because Southampton have picked up of late, but I think United will try and bore out a 1-0 after their renovate 1-0 over Liverpool.
Bore out, yeah. Well, they've been on the goal blitz.
Well, yeah, and we seem to, in recent years, I think, do pretty well against Southampton, usually when they're in a good run of form as well, so I just got a feeling he'll try and go for a 1-0 again.
Beat you there last year, didn't they? Old Trafford. Tadic has got the hoodoo on you there, so I don't know. We'll see. But it's a good. I mean, it's always a good shout, United at home, because they've got the best home defence, so that's a good one. I think there's quite a few cleanies about actually. You've got to decide West Brom Villa. I've got to go that because I just don't see where the goal threat is. I mean, the goal threat is Gusted, but West Brom have got the tools to deal with that, I think. And then you look at it, I think Liverpool, Norwich, I don't see Norwich. I don't know if Naismith plays, maybe, but I think Liverpool might sneak a cleanie there. Spurs, Palace haven't scored for 5 games. Spurs are the best defence in the league, so I've got to play Toby Alderweireld, haven't I, Jonty?
Yeah, no, I think he's great. Yeah, I think Spurs should be good there.
I just wanted you to say Alderweireld, but you're not going to say it.
Toby, yeah.
And then Sunderland, Bournemouth as well. There could be a clean sheet for either team there. I don't know. I don't see many goals about. Obviously, Aguero's going to get 6 and make me look silly. But apart from that, I don't see many goals this weekend. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Let's do transfers. Let's do captains. Jonty, you've already come out with your transfer. Do you want to clear it up who you got out?
Yeah,
then?
I've got rid of Bellerin for Daniels. I think Bellerin is not the best Arsenal defender to get currently. I think Koscielny is. I think Koscielny offers goal threat and, more importantly, bonus. Bellerin is not getting the bonus. The bonus system does not like him currently. So I would like an Arsenal defender. I just don't want Bellerin, and I prefer Ivanovic at the moment. Ivanovic is my kind of like, just what the hell. I quite like keeping him. So
Blimey.
I've got Leighton Baines from 2012, otherwise known as Charlie Daniels, in for him, and I will be captaining Lukaku because I think he has the best fixture and he has the very good home form.
Yeah, see, the Arsenal defence, though, 4 in the next 6 at home. I don't know. I don't know if this is the time to get rid of Bellerin. I looked at the stat. You're right. Up until recently, I think Bellerin has been, in terms of bonus, a bit of a liability. But he has he's edged closer to Monreal. He's just beaten him now for BPS. Something happened. Something switched between those two. So I don't know. I think I fancied him to even shut out Chelsea the weekend. Arsenal are a funny team, though. You know, they can concede silly goals, can't they? And that's what's frustrating about having one of their defenders, because they look tight and then they just do something stupid. But I just think Czech, in form, Chelsea, I don't know, Hazard's back. It's a difficult one to call, but we'll see. Okay, Andy, what's your transfer?
I'm actually might be really boring and roll it over. It depends basically if I want to play Daniels at Sunderland or not, which I probably will. So there's the option of bringing in a Everton midfielder for Mahrez, but I'm not a big fan of Barkley, and I'd like Morales, but who knows how long he's going to get running the side. So I might just play boring and roll it over. Plus, Charlie Daniels is guaranteed a penalty at the weekend, so
sure.
Probably him to play.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't know if you saw, but sorry, Boulders, I think it was, right at Hot Topic, and Bowstring wrote an article about the refereeing games.
Yeah, excellent. Men in Black. We used to run that article a few seasons ago, and the Bowstring article was superb, absolutely superb.
Yeah, and so Charlie Daniels guaranteed one against Sunderland, so you need to get him in your team pretty quick.
Is Roger Rees the referee? Is that right?
Something like that. Yeah, I can't remember the exact name of the referee. Whoever it is, though, he's definite penalty this weekend.
He'll be banking on that. Yeah, he'll love that if Daniels gets a penalty straight away, having got him in. Luke, what's your transfer? What's your sorry, Andy, what's your captain? I guess.
I'm probably not going to captain Aguero. I'm probably going to go Lukaku and go for the home game and just see how City fare away.
And stick the captaincy or somebody else. That's it. Sorry, I can't help myself. Luke, who's your transfer? Who's your captain?
I'm going to be boring and save a transfer. I've got 9 of my 11 are playing at home. It's only my 2 City boys that are away. So I'm hoping this season might revert to home players actually do well for once. Otherwise, I could be looking at an atrocious score.
I'll come back at you. Have you seen this season so far? That's what you said to me earlier. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And captain's going to be Aguero.
Yeah, well, this is it, isn't it? It's a tough one, isn't it?
I'm sorry, he's the best player in the league.
I know. This is it, and if he does come in, then you're going to be the one who's looking most smug next week in front of me, because you'll have had the armband on him. But I don't know, yeah.
I think City have changed all the form up to this point. The aways, the injury doubts around Aguero, they just looked different last week.
Actually, I look at one stat I didn't roll out is in terms of goal attempts away from home. Even though they've only scored 10 goals, City are the best team in the league at goal attempts away from home. It's not that they're not shooting; it's just they've had trouble converting. What they need is like a world-class striker up front, but obviously, I don't know where they're going to find
one thing that would worry me actually is the fact that they've had a couple of penalties turned down against them, City, in recent weeks. If the referees are on top of this sort of thing, which I think they sometimes are, they might give a penalty to Aguero. But then what worries me about that is Adrian is very, very good at saving them. So
do you think referees sit at home watching the highlights and go, "Oh, I'll have to give City a penalty"? Have
you not seen the amount of nailed-on penalties City have been denied? I've just got a feeling.
They only get penalties when Aguero's off the pitch, so Yaya can step up.
That's probably what will happen.
That only happens when Jonty gets Yaya in. I don't think it's going to happen there. It's fine. Okay, fair enough. It's been a pleasure as always. But I will just come out first of all and tell you that it'll be Lukaku, my captaincy. I've got no choice, have I? I haven't got Sergio, and my transfer. Well, as I've said, I'm probably going to go Ayew to Barkley. I've got to make the most of the fact that I can make that kind of transfer. I've got 0.6 in the bank, and Ayew's gone down in value already. And I watched Swansea the other night. I was hoping Ayew would deliver me goals, but no, they just don't look on it, do they, in terms of an attacking force. So Ayew's got to go. Barkley's fixture's so strong. I don't like him either. Andy's right. I think he's inconsistent, but those fixtures just look too good, and I think Barkley will profit in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So I'm probably going to have him for a good while. We'll see if that can make the difference. We'll see if somehow the straws that I've clutched tonight, any one of them might fall for me. We'll see. John T, you're almost shaking your head or grinning in kind of disagreement.
No, I'm looking forward to my Aguero points. I'm just dreaming, just thinking about them. They're happening in my head now.
That's weird. If you take to Twitter on Saturday night, I'm just going to put my fist through my screen. I'll tell you, if I see a goal...
No, but you're captaining Lukaku as well, so everyone will be.
I know. We'll see. I need Vardy to come in, don't I? I kind of need a few miracles every week from now until the end of the season, but we'll see. Before we go, just news on the Fantasy Football Scout Cup. That will be drawn tonight, and we'll have a full article tomorrow. I think, John T, that's in the works, isn't it? So that'll be out tomorrow morning, won't it?
Yeah, hopefully. I've got to write it.
Yeah, apologies for the delay on that. We had a lot of people who entered their teams wrongly, and I had to fix it behind the scenes. I've had lots of database tweaking. We've got there now. It's all sorted. The draw will take place, and that'll get underway. We'll see how long I last about Aguero. I don't even know if I've qualified. We'll see. It's been a pleasure as always. Good to have 4 of us. That was a very decent discussion. Looking forward to the Aguero debate again every week now. It's a good night for me.
Good night from me.
Good night from me.
And good night.
Good night, everyone.